A year ago, Dave Hasham thought he would move to LA or New York to find production work after graduation, but with the passing of the Michigan film tax incentives, Hasham found his decision more unclear.
I'm itching to get out of Michigan. I love it here enough to stay here for 6 years, but part of me is like, before I found out about the incentives, I was just wanted to kind of cut and run.
By staying in Michigan, Hasham has been able to work on both independent and large studio productions, including a new feature starring Kim Cattrall. Hasham has been able to stay in Michigan while working his way up the ladder, trying to create a reputation for himself within the film industry.
I was a camera intern. I was helping out the loader, so it goes like, cinematographer, first camera assistant, second camera assistant, loader, camera intern, and so like pretty much the lowest of the low. I'm not getting everyone water, but if the DP needs a coffee, I'll bring that to him. If they need me to run film to and from set, I do that. I'll help, carry a camera, break down a camera and stuff like that. So it's very rudimentary work. I mean, it's not as flashy as I want to make it. Everyone's like, I'm working movies, but you're moving boxes, but it's cool. I mean, you're on set,
The film incentives are an assignable tax credit of up to 42% of a production company's expenditures during the filming process. By making Michigan more financially attractive, legislators hope to bring in new jobs and capital to struggling local economies. So far, they have seen some success. The incentives have brought in about $65 million in revenue and created 2,700 jobs since they were passed in April 2008.
People wanted to use our logos in movies, but they didn't want to film here necessarily. So we've had, I think, 6 inquiries this year, and we're working on another one for summer. So it's not a real high number, but it's 600% more than we had in previous years.
Betty Ann Waters is here, and as a result, the director, Tony Goldwyn, spoke to our students, as will the screenwriter, Pamela Gray. She's going to be coming in a few weeks to speak to the students. But when he was here, one of the actors in our 423 production that we're doing this term introduced himself, said, I want to be an extra on your film. Well, Tony liked him and said, you know what? You're not going to be an extra. You're getting a part. And so he's playing one of Hilary Swank's classmates in the movie. Now, that's only because of that incentive law. They're here. They're coming to talk to our students. They're hiring our students.
With all the splashy headlines, many believed that Michigan may become the Hollywood of the Midwest. But many local filmmakers found it more difficult to break into Hollywood's inside circle than they initially expected.
It sounded like a fairy tale, like, oh, all these big budget pictures are going to come in, and it's going to be a huge film economy, and like you're going to be able to move up really easily, and then it didn't really work out like that. It's difficult for people to find work in Michigan with these incentives because the industry is based off of nepotism. And when you think of who am I going to hire, I'm going to hire people from LA that I know, that I've worked with before, than local kids. I mean, that's sort of how they see us. And it's sad. It's really sad because I know tons of people that are really qualified and really good and really hard workers, and they're really passionate about this stuff. And they're flying in people.
Other young filmmakers have faced similar difficulties. Katie Barkle is a recent film grad. She has stayed in the state, but has struggled to maintain consistent work.
It seems like a lot of people who aren't as familiar with the industry are really quick to think that it's going to solve all of Michigan's economic problems, but that's not really true because it doesn't create steady employment. It just gets really frustrating for someone like me to keep reading these newspaper articles talking about how everyone's going to be working, blah, 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 blah. I've got family friends, my grandparents all the time being like, well, why aren't you working? There's these studios coming and there's all these movies in town. And it's just, it's not as easy as I think sometimes people make it seem.
The whole thing will hinge on how competitive we are in terms of the entire filming experience. How quickly can we build the supporting industry, the camera people that they want to hire and not have to bring in and house here temporarily. All the designers, the production designers, all the off-camera services, and we're working on that. So we'll see if we can do it fast enough to keep this industry here.
Analysts at Michigan State have predicted long-term growth for Michigan's film industry, but some remain skeptical about the long-term prospects.
Depends on the impression that the production companies from LA and New York get of Michigan. You know, some people I've talked to think that all those movies coming in last year may have been too soon just because there weren't as many qualified crew members to work on them. And, you know, if LA and New York start thinking that there's no one who knows how to do their job in Michigan, then they're not going to want to come here, even if they do get, up to 42% back. So it depends on, I don't know, it really depends. Got to see what happens.